right, guys, welcome back to Twinhammer. Today we have a crazy reveal, which was Typhon. We love Kill Team here at Twinhammer, and we are having the mission to make sure that we spread Kill Team and Warhammer to everyone we can. And this is part of being so excited. I woke up at 6:45 a.m. Lots of stuff to do today, but was excited today because of the Typhon reveal. We've got Nids back. We've got a new Adeptus Mechanicus team. And today we're going to go over a few things of what we think about the new rules that just dropped and what we think about the old Tyranid teams and the old Hunter Clade team versus what these new replacements are going to be after the classified and after we went from the compendium. So here we go. Typhon right now. What a set. We're so excited to get this and build this and paint this. I just love what Warhammer is doing right now. It's incredible. They are outdoing themselves with every box, and Kill Team is getting more and more interesting. Before, you had many teams that kind of played similarly to each other. Either you had a shooty horde, you had a melee horde, and all of them had similar mechanics. It was good for learning, but really this Kill Team Typhon is another two teams that play completely differently than anything that we have seen before, and it's really exciting. You have finally a 5-man team, or a 5-model team, we should say, because they are definitely not men, and they are so cool. They are Nids, which used to be a swarm in Space Marine 2. You can just go and kill millions of Nids, but we've got our super elite team, which is 5 Tyranids, and they're not just 5 crazy unkillable guys. They need to burrow, they need to go. We're going to dive into a little bit of what we think about the rules here. And then you have Adeptus Mechanicus, who could kind of sacrifice an APL to make another APL go off at another edge of the board. You have all these big buff mechanical servitors. You have this cool kind of cowboy servitor. And then you have the big brain who's controlling everybody. So really, really cool. What a cool box. We at Twinhammer are going to be doing something called the Typhon Saga. It's going to be a bunch of Adeptus and Mechanicus versus Tyranids, and it's going to be the day of Ascension on Vulkus. It's going to be themed around that. More at the end, but for you guys right now, I'm going to send you to our official preview. Here we go. All was quiet on Vulkus. On the scorched sands of the Piratus Desert, Adeptus Mechanicus forces stood vigilant, led by tech priest Octo Lawrex, guarding secrets buried deep beneath the dunes. But when Sentry Mark II registered a biomechanical eruption, the reality fractured. What first appeared as imperial reinforcements from the Adeptus Militarum were anything but. From beneath the surface, the Jungalis Brood Legion rose, twisted Genestealers and Tyranid horrors masquerading as man. Now, war ignites on the day of Ascension. This is the Kill Team Typhon Saga. Twinhammer Studios presents Adeptus Mechanicus vs. Tyranids, the battle for Vulkus. So guys, welcome back from the official preview. We're going to jump right into what we think about the teams, and we are looking at the old Raveners. Clearly an amazing upgrade in both the models and the painting technology in Warhammer, because you have so many more paints. You have such a cool ability to really bring the models out. And you can see the old ones from like the 1990s or 2000s. The models were cool at the time, but I really don't like that white painting that they did on the Tyranids in the old style. The new style is so much cooler. These 5 look really cool. My favorite is the guy with the scorpion claws. People are going to be calling him the lobster for sure, because he's kind of like this kind of scorpion, snake, lobster aesthetic to him. But I just love him so much, and the team just looks so cool, and I really like the black carapaces on this particular painting scheme, and really thinking about this green and black with orange kind of paint scheme for the Raveners when we do them up. The Tyranids have been in Kill Team before. For those of you in the edition now who have just seen the 3rd edition of Kill Team and didn't participate in the second Kill Team edition. Last Kill Team edition, we had stuff called Compendium, which was you could take models from Big 40K and you can run them in Kill Team. So we had the Hive Fleet before. This is not a picture of the Hive Fleet here, but we had 3 Tyranid warriors, which were kind of as big as maybe half a Ravener. Not even as big as the Patriarch right now, but in the Brood Brothers. But we had those, and we had Genestealers. So we would often see 8 or 9 Genestealers across the table. They were amazing. And shout out to Jeremy in Las Vegas, who we had an epic Void Dancer and 9 Genestealer battle there. And he finished 8th in Vegas. But really, we haven't had NIDS in the new edition, and everyone was begging for it. So now we have it. Here we are. And the new Raveners look so, so cool. And having a 5-model team is refreshing because they didn't bring back just what was a compendium where you could take the small guys, you could take the Genestealers, and then you could take the 3 warriors. So we have something different, which I really like that. It's fresh for people who are really experienced Kill Team players, and it's obviously fresh for everyone new. The playstyle with burrowing is a completely new playstyle. Early thoughts can pop up in engagement range. Is really cool. I saw that in the Mountainside Tabletop playthrough that they just did, which was really cool. And it looks like you can pop out in between your markers and next to your markers and then pop back in once you've done it. And as you're going through the game and building this tunnel, it's going to be a really cool mechanic. What I love about Kill Team and it being such an amazing game is that really the board is changing in front of you. You're putting equipment down on the board. Now we have this tunnel mechanic where you can see these Tyranids tunneling in front of you. I'm really interested to see on Gallowdark, and maybe we'll play a game on Gallowdark. Maybe they're tunneling through the little systems of the hull of the spaceship. So really, really cool on that. I heard that it might be a little bit of a better for melee. Obviously, you're going to be more isolated, so that's going to be cool. But so having something like this with a burrow mechanic is so innovative, so new, and I think it's just going to be a whole bunch of fun. And it's going to be something that's, again, super different. So when we go from classified to the bespoke teams that we have for Kill Team right now, it's going to be like maybe 23 teams, all with their completely unique playstyle. So really cool to see the Rekkas versus these guys, for example, or Aquilons are jumping out of the sky and these guys are coming up from the ground, and then the Vespids are flying and these guys are coming up from the ground. So cool. Just imagining a Vespid versus Tyranid game is going to be like, wow, it's just so cool. All these alien creatures just flying and tunneling around. Their playstyle is really, really interesting. Again, I think you're going to want to be like an aggro, seek and destroy kind of team where you're going in, you're popping up, killing, going back. It's what we see with the Patriarch. I played Brood Brothers last year quite a bit, and what we saw is that with the Patriarch, you can't leave him out to be roasted. He had 4 APL, but you could divide it into 2 APL, 2 APL, or 3 APL, 1 APL. These guys have 3 APL base, and so the difference between the Patriarch and these 5 is that the Patriarch was at 21 wounds with a 4-up save. And I think that was an actual like ward save. I don't think that was the regular save. So I don't think that could be affected by AP. These just have the 5-up save, and I have to see if they're affected by AP as well. But it looks like they're all going to be 20 wounds. The Venom Spitter looks like the farthest range. You can still take cracks with this team as well. They're just going to be like balls of spit that come out from these guys. But really interesting to see that the Patriarch had 5 attacks on 3-ups, 5/6 with Rending and Relentless. And some of these specialists don't have Rending. They don't have inherent rerolls, which is pretty interesting as well. And instead of the 50 mil base that the Patriarch's on, these are on 40 mil bases. It's going to be interesting to see how they fit underneath. You're going to have the Ratlings that can't see over Vulkus, and these guys who can't fit underneath the Vantages on Vulkus. So interesting to see. I guess you just can't pop up there, but the 40 mil base should be able to extend so you can still hit anybody underneath. Very, very interesting. And then TAC Ops. So maybe Seek and Destroy, Overrun, and Champion. And that's a Ravener's playstyle. Early thoughts on them. Go see the rules for somebody who has developed the rules like Command Point. Shane there breaks down the rules so great. So go check him out. And this is just going to be early thoughts on how the playstyle is and how the teams play. So Adeptus Mechanicus, Hunter Clade, they're going to be classified soon. No one's playing them because they're not particularly strong. Some of their buffs require you to take debuffs, which is kind of defeats the point. But I made a cool Hunter Clade, as you guys saw in the preview, and I love that team. I really like the actual like big warriors, and I made some conversions on them from like Star Wars and different things like that. I like that aesthetic, and I built them into this kind of pirate desert aesthetic. But the Battle Clade are really cool. We have seen a Gun Servitor before, not in the Adeptus Mechanicus, but in Inquisition. And usually you put him with a buffing piece like the little cherub or the Tome Skull, rather. Mine was a cherub. And you had him just shoot his multi-melta. You have that same operative here, but you have an interconnected network of 8 of them. And then you have the brain that's kind of controlling everything. Interesting that we have 2 brains on each team. We have like kind of this big venom spitter brain type thing, and you have this other big brain. Interesting aside. And we have these just buff dudes who are just going around. They are about to lay the hurt on people. They've got flamers, they've got meltas, they've got all the cool imagery and like names for the Battle Clade. So I like that it's really diverse, and I really like this guy here. He looks like the Vox Breaker from Phobos, so very interesting. What we're looking at their playstyle is that they have recon, so maybe it's a Plant Beacons team where you can do a lot of counteracts. You can throw some of the more tanky guys up, and they could counteract Plant a Beacon. And that could be maybe this through this new spheric network. So very interesting. And then you have the Servitor Understeer, which is kind of controlling the whole team. So very, very cool. And we have the Nospheric Spur, which is the first support ability that really is going to be like this, the equipment that allows you to extend your support, which is the kind of network command equipment that you can take. That's going to be the first time people are actually going to bring that, and that's going to be so cool to see on the tabletop. And it's kind of like boom, this brain is just shooting out all of these commands. And then you have Accurate 1 from that additional 6-inch to 9-inch bubble. Now with a diameter of 18 inches, you're going to be able to get Accurate 1 on most of these guys throughout the whole of the game. Very interesting to see how these guys are going to play into Goremongers, for example. They have decent enough melee that they could survive, and they have a pretty good wound profile. So very interesting to see how these guys interact, just like all kill teams. They're cool on their own, but how do they interact with all the other teams? It makes it even cooler and such a fun game. So Typhon upcoming for you guys. We have some really cool stuff upcoming. We have a Assassin's Creed. I was going to get this, but we're going to do a Wormblade Assassin's Creed kit bash. We're going to do Brood Bros versus Hunter Clade that you saw in the preview. We're going to do how to paint Raveners, how to paint and convert the Battle Clade, and then we're going to do the Raveners versus Battle Clade battle report at Top Shelf, and Top Shelf is going to be supporting us with Typhon and with this whole series. So really, really excited. Top Shelf is such a great store in Oakville. If you guys want to get your pre-order, go on to Top Shelf's website right now and purchase those. And keep an eye out for all of these in the series. We can't wait for you guys to see all of this. And we love diving into the lore, creating the storyline around Vulkus, around the big gun, and around the day of Ascension. We can't wait to see you guys there. We got NIDS. We got Adeptus Mechanicus. Love you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Bam!